Hey guys, it's Liz and welcome back to my channel. It has been a hot minute since I have been here on YouTube. I've had so much going on. I have been so busy. I have a new job. So much has happened and I thought I would jump on here and give you guys a bit of an update of my whole situation because so much has changed. So yes, basically this video is about exactly what the title says, funnily enough. I just thought it was pretty important to give you guys an update. I know a lot of people watch my videos for the mental health aspect. Actually, I had a lot more views on the couple of videos that were about that as opposed to makeup. So I thought it would be cool to jump on and reflect at sort of how far I've come with things, give you an update. Yeah, so pretty much that's it. We'll start with like not the sadder end, but the sadder end of things and talk about sort of where I was at and sort of how far I've come and what's sort of happening in between. So yeah, let's talk about where I started with all this. Basically, I was diagnosed with social anxiety maybe 4 or 5 years ago now. My anxiety sort of stemmed out and grew from not so much, I wasn't affected so much by the social things. I then didn't like being alone because my thoughts used to tend to consume me. Great, isn't that wonderful? So it sort of stemmed out and it wasn't so much social anxiety anymore. When I did my last lot of YouTube videos, I did have a job and I was quite happy there. And I'd made some really cool friends as well there. So I was super lucky. I was still struggling quite a bit and I didn't reflect on a lot of that in my last video, but the self-doubt was there. Still struggling over night time, that kind of thing as well. I never really thought I would get back in a job or a position where I could actually take some kind of leadership, I suppose. A lot has changed pretty much since then. I mean, I am able to control it a lot more. I think that I have grown a lot in the last couple of years. I was quite immature, naive, stubborn, all those kinds of things, but I do feel like I have grown a lot as a person within that time. I was lucky. I saw psychologists and psychiatrists, etc., my doctor. They gave me really good coping mechanisms and ways to handle anxiety when I was going through it. But yeah, for me personally, a lot of it was to do with my state of mind, how I was feeling. Not only that, but I think it's so important, and it's not actually talked about a lot. It is so important to drink a lot of water, eat healthy, get exercise, and get a good amount of sleep. But I do want to take this time now to reflect back with you guys because, like I said, it's really important to celebrate the successes in life. Don't always focus on the crappy stuff because there's always going to be crappy stuff. Let's be real. This is probably going to be really hard for me to read. I'm not sure. Like I was screenshotting it on my iPad and I felt some weird emotions, but basically I'm gonna have a read back with you guys to a WordPress, which is a blog that I did 2 years ago. Basically I started a blog because I thought I would be able to express my feelings that way. It was really hard because my mum and my dad and my boyfriend and my nana are all great. They are like, yep, you go through this thing. It's horrible. It sucks. And I feel like there's only so much I can speak to them about it. And like, they don't fully understand it to a full extent. If that makes sense. They don't understand it to its full extent. So I basically just decided to make a WordPress. I only ever wrote one post, of course, because that's the type of person I am. And yeah, I want to have a look back at that now, see how I feel about it all, because I'm not quite sure how I feel. I already feel really emotional knowing that I have to read it, but basically just, But basically just to see how far I've come from that, which was a pretty crappy time in my life. And I probably, at that time, as you do when you go through anxiety and depression, I suppose, once again, I think let's have a look back, and I want to see how far I have come from this. So this was written in May 2016. So this was like 2.5 years ago now. I'd had a really crappy day. I felt like I couldn't really talk to anyone. I didn't want to bother mum and dad with what was going on, because we all have our things going on inside our heads and whatever else. So anyway, I'll read to you guys what I read. I'm not really sure how I'm going to react, so we'll just see how it goes. But basically this was how I was feeling 2.5 years ago, and then we'll have a talk about where I'm at now. Hi there, I am Eliza, and I have one of the more common mental illnesses alongside depression, anxiety. Wow, what a great way to start off. Imagine shaking someone's hand and saying that. I will start off with a little bit about me, my background, and why the hell I started a blog. I'm a 20-year-old that has been unemployed for a few years due to a mental illness that has completely taken over my life. Yay. Even as I write this post, I have tears streaming down my face because my dad just came in and kissed me on the cheek, not knowing how else to help me when I am feeling the way I am. You can't help me when I'm feeling like this. Ever since I could remember, I have been anxious and never really as out there as adventurous as my friends or the people I was surrounded by. I also suffer from insomnia. What a beautiful combination. Not. It's totally lethal. I've put in brackets there. I've been bullied my whole life, and I'm talking my whole life. I literally cannot remember a time when I wasn't anxious to go to school. Everyone gets bullied, right? I was pushed downstairs, play equipment, and have my broken. I was pushed downstairs, play equipment, and had my bones broken. Little did I know this was unfortunately shaping my mind into what would become crippling anxiety. My teen years followed, along with toxic relationships, more bullying, a not so great relationship with my father, and some of my bosses that managed to make me leave jobs that I loved. I began to struggle with dealing with my emotions, as we all do. Basically, after I turned 18, everything became a blur. Social anxiety made me hate people and the thought of being surrounded by people. Basically, I locked myself in my room for 1.5 years and ate my whole life away. I managed to put on 2 dress sizes and refused medication to help me. During this time, I was unable to attend interviews for potential jobs due to panic attacks that would exhaust my body to the point I wouldn't move from my bed in days. True story. I also cut myself off from any social situations, even seeing my family, my parents, and my grandparents. That's the sad part. The worst was yet to come. When I suffered from social anxiety, it was manageable. I dealt with it. I now have bad anxiety in general. It escalated because I ignored it, I stopped my appointments, and I refused medication. Though that was sort of a part of my anxiety because I was scared to take Panadol. I suffer from a panic attack every few nights now. It comes on like a tornado, building up over the little things that have made me angry, sad, or anxious throughout the day. The longer I keep the feelings inside, the worse the attack. Nighttime is a killer. Being alone and overthinking means I can work myself into an attack and make myself feel like I can't breathe. Right now, life is so hard. I have a wonderful boyfriend. I am happy. My family are amazing. And I hate them seeing me anxious when I break down because they really can't help me. And they know that. I am forever grateful for the support from the wonderful people surrounding me. I made this blog basically to vent and hopefully get rid of these anxious feelings. I hope it helps. I really do. Did I mention I feel like I'm drowning? It's really hard to read. I look so different. Look at my little face. Oh my gosh. That was a really crappy time in my life, and at that moment I felt like I had no one to talk to that understood or was able to help. Yeah, that was a really bad time in my life. But I mean, I think this was really important to me because I wanted to focus on how far I've actually came. So looking past all that and realizing how bad it was back then is important to getting better and to acknowledging that I have done some pretty cool shit. I've done really well for myself, considering I've lived with this thing that's pretty much eaten me up, or eaten my thoughts, and just, I don't even know, it's just been so debilitating. But you know, the important thing is with these illnesses that, and I, you know, whenever someone says to me that they feel really down, I think it's really important to focus on the fact that it is a temporary feeling and it's going to get better. It's just like when you break a bone and it heals. I mean, it's exactly what goes on with our minds in a way, I believe, anyway. But yeah, looking back at that is really, really hard, but I've come so far and I want to have a talk about the happy part of things now. I think my hopes in doing this video for those people out there that are sort of suffering, going through anxiety and depression, is to show that you can kick ass and you're going to do awesome things, because if I can do it, you can do it too. And you're going to. So let's get into the happier part of things before I start crying at what I just read, because that's hard to read. That's really hard to read. If I could say something to myself 2.5 years ago, it would be, you're going to be okay. You're going to do really well. You're going to get a job that you really enjoy in an area that you really love. The panic attacks will become manageable and you will learn to cope better. Yeah, it's just crazy looking back. I know since after that blog post, I did get a job. That was at a really cool place and I loved everyone that I worked with, which was amazing. I still work for myself. I'm so busy. So I'm a makeup artist, if you didn't know, and I don't know if I mentioned that at the start. I probably did. It's just me. But yeah, I'm so busy, booked out for most of next year for weddings. I've done masterclasses. So if you watched my first YouTube video, you would know that I was, first of all, or I actually mentioned it in the blog post that I read, first of all, I was actually diagnosed with social anxiety. So that was quite crippling in the way that I actually couldn't sort of be in social situations without having a panic attack. But now I push myself completely out of my comfort zone, and my friends and family know that now. I have done 2 masterclasses now, which has been a really good progression for me, in the sense that 3, not even 3, probably more like 3 or 4 years ago, I wouldn't have even been able to be in a social situation of any kind. So to be able to look forward to now, where I've helped myself manage my anxiety a lot better, I was able to stand in front of 10 plus females and tell them about something that I really love and enjoy. And I never thought in a million years that I would be able to get up and actually talk to people. I'm a massive believer of pushing yourself. I do think it can do the world of good. If you are in a situation where you feel like you're going backwards and not going anywhere, I do suggest pushing yourself to a safe degree. Don't do something crazy, but a little push never hurts anyone. It's good for your brain to challenge yourself and stuff like that as well, especially when you go through this kind of stuff. Of course, if you're in a situation where you're really struggling and unable to do that, that's cool. Aim for it in the future. My goal for myself was always, yep, one day I want to be doing this, this, and this. And I'm slowly ticking things off as I go. I don't care how slow I go, but something that I did I don't know, I think that was like, oh, this is a bit over a month ago now. I never would have been able to do like 3 years ago. If you had have said to me, you need to go and stand in front of a group of females and talked for 2.5 hours, I would have literally laughed my guts up, because I am not that person. I never thought I would be that person, but I have been able to slowly manage my anxiety and get myself to that point that I'm happy at. So now I have bigger goals and I'll work towards them. I don't really care how long it takes. It doesn't bother me at all. It's just that I get there in my own time. I mean, sometimes, some days I'm like, gonna get out of bed today. And that's a really good starting point for me that day, because I'm sort of feeling a bit down or whatever. So you just have to set yourself manageable goals and work towards them. Don't even give yourself a time limit. Just say, I want to do this and I'm gonna do it. And I feel like that does a world of good. So now that I'm doing those kinds of things, I'm working casually at the moment, but I think I'm going to go to longer hours shortly, which is good. And I'm really confident in doing that as well now, which is good. Once again, 3-4 years ago, I never would have pictured myself with a job. I never would have pictured myself leaving my home. But here we are. We're doing it. We're kicking ass. We're doing good. We're doing good. And there's nothing wrong with giving yourself a pat on the back as well. I think the most important thing that I need to add into this video is, if you are medicated, don't take yourself off your medication. Never do that. Because I was shocking, and my doctors would go, yep, you're on this. And I'd be like, no, I'm too anxious to take that and I'm not going to take it. So I was getting absolutely nowhere. That's just me though, once again. But yeah, it is so important to listen to your doctors, listen to your psychologists, your psychiatrists, take your medication, set yourself goals, and you'll do awesome things. If I'd have sat down here, like I said before, it's so important to tell you guys this, because I know a few of you will probably be going through similar situations to what I was maybe in before, or you've been there and done that. Set yourself goals and you'll do it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button down below. Feel free to share it with your friends, and please subscribe to my channel, because I hope to have more videos coming up soon. See ya!